One of the most famous events of Jewish heroics in recent Jewish history is Operation Entebbe, which was the counter-terrorist hostage rescue mission carried out by the IDF at Entebbe Airport in Uganda on the 4th of July, 1976. A week earlier, an Air France plane was taken with 248 passengers. It was hijacked by members of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine and also German revolutionary cells. And it was flown to Entebbe, and all non-Israeli passengers were released, except for one French citizen. And the IDF acted on intelligence provided by the Mossad, prepared a plan to take over with military strike against the hostage takers and the Ugandan military troops, which took part in the in the hostage crisis as well. And the operation took place at night, and Israeli transport planes carried about 100 commandos over 2,500 miles, 4,000 kilometers, to Uganda for the rescue operation. It took a week of planning. The whole thing lasted only 90 minutes, where 102 hostages were rescued, 5 Israeli commandos were wounded, and one, the commander, Lieutenant Colonel Yonatan Netanyahu, was killed. He's the brother of Benjamin Netanyahu. All the hijackers were killed, and also 45 Ugandan soldiers were killed. 30 Soviet-built MiG-17s and 21s of the Ugandan Air Force were destroyed. 3 hostages, sadly, were also killed in the operation, and 24 hours later, a 4th Israeli hostage was killed by Ugandan army officers at a nearby hospital. The operation is known as Operation Thunderbolt or Operation Yonatan to commemorate Yoni Netanyahu. We're going to hear an interview now with one of the people who was a young soldier from Sayeret Matkal, the elite Israeli unit, who actually took part in the operation. And this interview took place itself in a fascinating place, not all the way out in Uganda, but in the foothills of Efrat at a fantastic tactical range where it's a self-defense school, a shooting school, a first responders anti-terrorist school. And this man that you're going to hear from is an instructor there at this range called Caliber 3. All right, folks, I am here at Caliber 3 on the outskirts of Efrat. This is one of Israel's premier security training institutions. It is for civilian and military and paramilitary, i.e. security teams in Judea and Samaria. This is where they get the best training. Everything from how to use weapons, how to defend oneself, hand-to-hand combat, and really getting what we call in Israel liot miktsui, to be professional, to really professionalize the abilities, because response times are measured in nanoseconds and not in minutes and not in a long time to aim. They're measured at super quick intervals between the terrorist getting the best of you or you getting the best of terrorists. We have an expression in Judaism that says, Hakam lo gechash kem lo go. He who arises to kill you, you get up just a little bit earlier to get them first. And I'm standing here with a man who is one of Israel's very best, and that makes him one of the world's very best, counter-terrorist security trainers, who himself has a long past in security forces, special operations, has been injured many times in the line of duty for Israel. And his name is, paradoxically and humorously, Yishai Ish Shalom. His family name means a man of peace. And I'm sure that to him, there's no contradiction, there's no paradox, because being ready for war lets you be peaceful, or wanting peace comes with being prepared for war. Yishai Shalom, a few minutes about yourself. To tell us about how does a person, an Israeli, and that's what you are very much to me, an Israeli, how does an Israeli come about to become one of the world's best security experts? Where does that come in the Israeli soul?
My generation grew up after the Holocaust. My generation grew up while Arab countries and terrorists and armies surrounded us, and we were very insecure. Meaning, when I reached the army, and it was after Yom Kippur War, 73, the notion of a kibbutz, remember, kibbutz, that my father founded Hanita at the age of 38. I remember one of the Holocaust days, Memorial Days, when I'm feeling very, very, very blue. Every Holocaust Day. Why? Because I feel that's something to remember. That's something that I must avoid with all my essence from happening again. And I remember in the elite unit I served, sitting in the tent in a very, very difficult, after very difficult training, very blue like I always am, but I see my members quite the same. Nobody was talking about it before. And I asked one of my mates, Rami, what's going on? He said, no, everything's okay. No, you're blue. No, I'm fine. So I initiated saying, I'm blue because this is the Holocaust Day and I joined Sayeret Matkal only because this will not happen again to the Jewish people as long as I can contribute my best. And he said, I was ashamed to talk about it, but the same, and all the people around said the same. This is the essence. Meaning, any person who admits to be Jewish, doesn't matter religious, this kind or this kind, non-religious, but Israel he cares for. If anybody shoots now from here, you know where will I be? I'll be getting the bullet for you, because this is my essence. Now we must train best in order to, when you reach the real time, your ability drops within 40 to 60% to your best ability in training. So train hard because you are going to drop very, very low. Speaking about Caliber 3, this is one of the 6 schools for security authorized by the Israeli police and Israeli army and the Israeli special forces to train very specialized bodies. We are all coming from the battlefields. Some of us are high rank like me. I'm a colonel, Sharon is a colonel, and I'm already old. I'm not in the army anymore. In my time, it's tzionut, as I called, to take a guy, Rafi, and make him in 6 days a good security, a proper security guard. And I give him my heart, it will ache him. I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to put him on the ground. I'm going up just for him when and if the time comes, I know I gave him my best. This is tzionut. All of us feel bad when anything happens involving Israeli forces and we did not participate in. And we know that it can bring us to die. And we're willing to die. Meaning we're not taking the step to get into dangerous action on the whole. No, if it deserves me getting hurt or that, no, this I did not know. We know that's what it takes. So we're ready to take it.
So one of the many battlefields that you experienced was the famous Entebbe battle. There are stories that you can tell us, and there are stories you can't tell us. But you were part of the unit that had the great audacity to fly halfway around the world and to rescue those hostages that had been taken a week before. It happens to be that I was born on the day that it was taken, and my brit was on the day of your operation. And I just want to ask you for a few words. I know you can't talk about everything, and I know that you had only your perspective on the battle, but just a few words about that, because for so many of us, it is... not only is it a ray of hope, but it says that the state of Israel will protect the Jewish people around the world. That's the message of Entebbe. What can you tell me about what you remember?
Look, the terrorists started at the early 70s after the Munich 72 Olympics. They started to hijack planes. At the beginning, they intended to hijack planes and lefotzetz, to explode them over Tel Aviv, over Jerusalem to make. Then they started, they can't make it. They started to hijack planes in order to ask things, okay, to demands. After Sabena, what they did here, and they landed here, they hijacked this plane of Air France and hijacked it to Entebbe. Now, you probably know that Uganda was the best friend of Israel about 5 years before. They trained with us, we trained them there, we made their agriculture, we made their hospital, they graduated our universities and so on, and then Idi Amin something evolved and he decided that we are his enemies. Okay. I remember on the day of the hijack, I told some of my mates, this is the time for us to make plans. This is the time. And I was just a junior, nothing. And apparently they did. Now, it wasn't an operation of one unit. There were 4 units, each one on other device. There was only one stage very dangerous in that operation, namely 2. This was the time when the planes with the warriors were not covered by Israeli planes. 20 minutes from Nairobi to Entebbe. Of course, Matkal was in charge of the main thing of taking the hostages, freeing the hostages. There was more fuss with this force, with the new terminal. There was Wisagi and Matan on the Air Force base and so on. So some of us came by the plane, some of us came with the Mossad, doesn't matter, and we carried it out, and no vanity, no sense of I'm better than anybody else and so on. We just did what we did because, as I said before, I'm willing to give my life for you, even though I don't know you, because this is my nature. That's what I'm getting paid for. Okay, that's my... So it was very narrow. Everyone had only a narrow perspective. I know that my time freeing hostages, nothing really exciting. Nothing I can say, okay, now I'll see. We came in, we did our job, we were accurate. 99% of the success of this operation lies within luck. Within luck, not because we're good. It could easily be catastrophic. But as a Jew, we're willing to take the risk because we won't let any Holocaust happen again. This is all I can say.
That was 1976. Today is 2012. There's a lot of people that come here from all over the world. A lot of Jews that come here from the diaspora. And within a few minutes, few hours, they get to feeling that they're more Israeli, that they're more able to defend themselves, which is part of the ethos of Zionism. And it gives them a sense that they're part of the story more, that they can defend themselves like they haven't been able to in maybe 2,000 years. That's the last thing I want to ask you about. What does that feel like to you? From Entebbe to today, 2012, here working at Caliber 3, giving people that confidence, that firepower to be a Jew in the land of Israel.
I think that you're confusing something. When Israel was counting few Jews, very few Jews, everyone knew someone who knew you. Meaning, there was no way that you could say, okay, I won't do it and nobody knows. Everybody knew. So we had to be very... Now it's our fault. We took our children and said, okay, I had such a bad time, not bad time, such a tough time. Let's לחסוך את זה ממנו. How will I say it?
Let's keep it away from them.
Yeah. So that's what we do. We accuse him and him and him and him, and we don't let our children cope. Now, when they have to cope, they don't know how to do it because we always covered for them. So when I'm here, and I'm taking the youngsters and showing them it's their responsibility, and be tough. Nobody will come for your rescue, only yourself. No father, no mother, you. And when a tourist come and I'm telling him from the States, from France, from wherever, telling him, are you feeling risky, under risk? Either you leave the place and come here because here it's safe, either you start organizing your people in order to feel safe there. But don't cry. Don't cry. It's your choice, nobody else's. So my part and our part is to let a Jew or every human being be a human being and take responsibility for his existence. Me, I'm not aggressive. I love people, I love music, I love children, I love everything. Why? Because I don't need it. In my toolbox, there lies the aggressiveness. As soon as I need it, in no time I have it. I don't need it. Once I don't have it, I'm afraid to use it. I'm going to either not use it when necessary, either use it when not necessary. So I'm trying to teach people to get set, to get into aggressiveness when needed in order to save lives, not more than that. So the tourists from the diaspora come in. First of all, you must know it's safe here for Jews. You must know the safest place on earth for Jews. But if you want to be a Jew and be in the diaspora and you don't feel safe, make it safe for yourself. And it's easy to do. Easy to do. Either or come here.
Yishai Shalom from Sayeret Matkal to Caliber 3, 57 years old. You already have children also in special units here in the Army.
And one grandchild.
Mazal Tov, and thank you so much for all you do.
Toda lachem, and may we see you only in good times.
Amen. All right, folks, that was my interview with Yishai Shalom, formerly of Sayeret Matkal, and today one of the top instructors at Caliber 3, which is a counterterrorism school with a full range, shooting range for live fire. Amazing, amazing stuff that you learn. Self-defense, Jewish defense. Very impressive place. It's in the outskirts of Efrat. You got to check it out and get out there and shoot. I do believe that when you get out there and you feel in your hands the possibility of being a Jewish hero and protector, and I'm talking for men and women alike, it is an amazing feeling. And it really empowers you to be something more of a fuller Jew, a more organic Jew, a more total Jew.